Hey Minecrafters, this is Sherlock, and today I thought I would do kind of a quick tutorial for you on how to make something that is well designed for Minecraft. We're going to be using two programs. We're going to be using Microsoft Paint that comes with Windows. This is the Windows 7 version, so if you have XP it's going to look a little different. And we're going to be using GIMP, which is actually free. I'll put a link in the description. It's 100% free. It's a great program for basic image design. And we're going to create and then we're going to transfer that into Minecraft. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say it right off the bat. I know there's programs out there like Minecraft. I don't like this program, mostly because it's a web-based application and it's kind of difficult to move around in, and I don't really like it that much. I've messed around with it. It's just kind of a pain. So the reason I like Paint is for a few reasons. One, it's very simple. Everybody has it. Very, very simple program to use. When I load up Paint, the first thing I do is I turn grid lines on, and this is important because it gives you a 1x1 block, just like in Minecraft, which is a 1x1. So we'll zoom in, and we have, you can zoom in by hitting Control and then mouse wheel in, or you can go to View, and you can zoom in, zoom out. And we've already created something. We created this during the live stream. This is not going to be our project for today, but it's just kind of an idea. This is a turtle with a rocket pack and an Abraham Lincoln hat. It's just fun, just a lot of fun, and it is something that you're going to see in Minecraft later on. But the reason I like Paint is because of a few things, and the other one is the shapes. You can create shapes very easy. You can't do this in Paint, or you can't use this in GIMP. Now, when you create a shape, always make sure that your size is what you want it to be. I always do about the smallest size line, because that gives you basically a one width line. And it's very easy to start making lines. And if you guys remember my star base, how do you think I came up with that star? There you go. That's how I made the star. I also use the curve line right here at the very top. I use this a lot, and you'll see that. Do you guys remember the hot air balloon that I created? Well, I'll show you how I created the hot air balloon very quickly here. For example, I just took a circle, and let's see, I made the circle about like that, and then I cut half the circle off. So I cut the bottom half here. So I just selected it, delete, take a line, and make a line about like that. And then what I like to do is I like to copy half of it so it's exactly symmetrical. So I'm going to select half of it, Control C to copy, Control V to paste, and then I'm going to do this rotate here. We'll flip it, and we have a nice symmetrical hot air balloon, kind of. You know, not bad. And each line is kind of its own circle. And then, you know, let's see, we can hit brown for wood, and we can make the strings coming off of it. And then we have our little awkward basket. This is a really huge hot air balloon, but that's just to give you guys kind of an idea of how I kind of come up with my ideas there. So that's why I like Paint. I like Paint because it's simple. I like Paint because of the grids, and I like, the shapes, and I like Paint just because you can use that curve line. That curve line's great. And the thing that I don't like about Paint, though, is you can't zoom in very far. So let's go on to what we're actually going to be working on, and that's going to be over here at GIMP. Now, GIMP is my favorite program and choice to use for designing stuff in Minecraft. I wanted to create something, and this is going to be our project. I wanted to create something that is going to be kind of an ode to one of my favorite video games of all time, and that was Warcraft 2. So I looked up the human barracks from Warcraft 2, and here it is. And I designed from an above view, so looking down from straight above. So let's pull up GIMP here, and we'll kind of make that small, and you can kind of see how the above view looks pretty accurate to what I have in the image here. That's pretty accurate, and that's a straight top-on view. This is important because it gives you a good idea of the layout of your base or your fortress or whatever you're building. An above view is always good to have. And the way we set up GIMP is, say we start a new one, we start a new image, and this is 640 by 400. That's huge. It doesn't need to be that big, but you can make it whatever you want. And when you create your image, you got to set it up. So the very first thing I do is I set the show grid. See, there's no grid now. You go to View, Show Grid. Now you have a grid. And when you actually set up, when you hit show grid, the very first thing it'll show you it as 10 by 10 blocks. This isn't very useful because you can't count pixels on 10 by 10 very well. So if you go to Image, Configure Grid, you can make it 1 by 1 blocks. And you can even change the color that you want for the actual grid lines. So if you want it to be like beige or something, maybe it's a little bit easier to read. Depends on what you're creating. For this, I'm going to keep it black, and I'm actually need to go ahead and put that back to 1 by 1. Whoops, don't mess with that. That doesn't need to be messed with. And 1 by 1. There we go. So that's how you set up the grid in GIMP. So another little tip for you: if you want to count pixels and you want to make it a little bit easier, you can use the Select tool here at the very top here. And as you're selecting, look at the bottom left corner here. Look at the bottom left corner. You'll see it where it says rectangle, 3 by 1, 3 by 2. That is actually what I'm selecting, and that's pixel counting, very easy. So I'm now selecting 7 pixels, 7 by 1. That means I'm selecting 7 pixels going horizontal. And that's how easy it is to count blocks now. So now we know that this circle has 7 up here. Make it a little bit harder with this one is 17. 17 between one cylinder and the other cylinder. So that's a little tip on how to kind of calculate how many pixels there are between something. It makes it a lot easier. So after I created a above view, especially for something that's a little bit more complex, also use the pencil tool. Don't ever use the paint tool. And make sure that your pencil size is the smallest. That way when you when you're actually drawing, it's pixel by pixel and not one big blob. Like, that's still not, let's see, let's go bigger than that. Like that. So yeah, just 1 by 1, that's what I do there. So after I created the above view here, I wanted to get an idea of how high it was going to be and what it was going to look like from the front. So the first thing I did is I took this front part, this is actually the front, and I said dot 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 over here, dot dot dot, and I said this is what the front is going to look like. This is just the front. This is just this area here. And I decided that, well, that's great. It gives me an idea of what it's going to look like. I feel confident with that. That looks good. But I can't see what this back part's going to really look like because the front is hiding it. That is the world we live in when we have only two-dimensional graphs that we're working on here. So I hit dot 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 and I basically made what the back was going to look like. And that is what this is over here. So now that I've actually designed what I want it to, and I got these circles off the circle guide. I'll put a link in the description for that too if you want. But I basically just made it from the top, and then I made some front views, which isn't always necessary, but in this case I felt it was. And now we're going to go into Minecraft, and we're actually going to set this up and get it started. Now, I'm not going to really, I'm going to kind of just do it picture or bit by bit so you guys can see it, because I do a lot of alt-tabbing as I'm doing the Minecraft thing, because I'm alt-tabbing to look at this, and I'm alt-tabbing to go back into Minecraft, alt-tabbing to go back into this, so on, so on. And I'll be recording with Fraps, so that doesn't really record too well when you do that. And let's see, I think that's about it. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so one of the first things I do is I make sure I have enough land cleared out for what I'm creating. I did an estimate, I didn't estimate, I actually went in and I counted the amount of pixels that would the new fortress that I'll be creating, the barracks. And it is actually about 42 by 40. So what I'm going to be doing is first I'm going to clear out all the land from 40 to 42 to make sure I have a nice spot to start building at. Alright, so now we have the land cleared out, and I went ahead and placed down basically just the outline of the bottom. And from here I'll work on the front, and then I'll work on the back, and I'll just kind of rise it up, and hopefully it looks okay. So we'll see how it comes out. Alright, and here's our final product. It is the barracks from Warcraft 2. So you kind of got to see from the very beginning of how I do something to the very end, and I hope that was helpful in helping anybody out there that wants to design something that was a little bit more complicated than, say, just a little house like that. I do this for a lot of things. I also did this for my Jetsons house, and I also did it for a lot of other structures in a previous world. I had to make a few edits to the back portion here, but after I did the edits, it all kind of lined up, and it was just because my right side wasn't quite fixed to my left side. I used logs for the tops of the rooftops here. I'm going to probably eventually replace those with colors, much like in the actual picture. And you know, it came out pretty well. I haven't done all the inside. Of course, you can't really design the inside of the castle. I mean, you can, but I'm talking about like putting furniture and stuff like that in there. So I'll get to that. So anyways, I hope this tutorial was helpful to somebody out there. And you know, I actually do a Let's Play where I'm going to be starting to give out designs that I have created. So like if I created it in Paint or I created it in Gimp, I'll save it and I'll actually put it on each episode. So if you guys are interested, maybe check that out. I've already done that with one episode. I'll be continuing to do that with my next episodes to come. And all right, so I'll see you guys later. Thanks a lot for watching.